Ducks Don't Get Cold Feet, episode 48, and we are here with Tyson Beck. Now, you might not know who this guy is, but this guy is definitely making waves across the world. Just recently been crowned the world's best trading card creator. Tyson, all the way from Adelaide, rubbing shoulders with celebrities. I know there's some great stories there. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. It's great to be here.
So we're going to have a bit of a chat about all things about your career. Mm-hmm. And, let's go back to the early days. Like, what you've sort of penciled yourself into as being a creator of some of the craziest artwork on a trading card. Now, I used to collect trading cards when I was younger. I still got some Michael Jordan stuff, but I looked at the price. I think it was $7. I was a little bit disappointed that there's one card that's worth a lot and many that aren't. So you design these cards, in fact, with the graphics, and they're more cartoon style. Yep. And then you somehow nuzzle your way into, originally, I think, how'd you start by doing the cards component? Like, how'd you get your first gig?
Well, I was working a lot in sports design and artwork and content from 2006, 2007 to about 2014. And at that time, I was making stuff for the NBA and other teams and leagues and agencies. And I literally just got an email one day from Topps, and it was in 2014, just saying, hey, we see the sports work you do, we'd love for it to be on a trading card. And I was just like, oh, cool. And they just asked me to quote. They were just going to make me do one card. I gave a quote. Maybe it was a little too low, because they said, can you do the whole set? And I was like, oh, okay, no worries. So ever since then, 2014, now we're in 2024, I've been doing cards through Topps. But then in 2020, I kind of went out and did my own thing. But before 2014, I wasn't doing any cards. I was just making sports artwork and designs and like social media content and stuff for like teams, like American sports teams and leagues. So
how old were you when you started doing all this?
I think I was like 16, or was it 16 or 17 in high school? So basically, when I was in high school, like I didn't really, when you reach like year 10, 11, you kind of get told like you need to think about what you're going to do after year 12. And
still trying to figure that out.
Yeah. And I really wasn't that good at anything or enjoyed anything. I love sport. Like, I love basketball. That was my passion. And I was like, man, like, I'm never going to be good enough to get paid to play basketball. But the only thing I was kind of good at was like Photoshop on a computer. Like, I was kind of good at that. I would go home and make like wallpapers, and I don't know if like back in the forum, if you were like on forums, I'd make wallpapers, signatures, and avatars for people, and I'd just make them for free. And basically, what happened was, I would make them on my username. Like, there was a bunch of designers back then, and my username was Kobe_Bryant_is_da_best. And like, I don't know, I guess I knew nothing about marketing, but that was my design name. I was a big Kobe fan, obviously. And what happened was in year 12 in high school, we had like a design project, and it was a year-long project. You could choose whatever you want to do. And all I was doing, I was like, it's just submitting like the wallpapers and stuff that because I was lazy I was making online on forums. And then later in the year, when I went to submit it, someone ratted me out in the class and said like, oh, I'm just stealing those wallpapers online. Like, you can find them on Google Images. That's not my work. And I was like, it is. And they're like, no, it says designed by Kobe_Bryant_is_da_best. That's not you. And I was like, no, that's me. Like, so from that point, I was like, I got to change my username, my design name. Like, it was kind of like everyone had a design name. Like, it was kind of like a rapper name sort of thing. So yeah, I was like, it's time to change it. I just wrote designed by Tyson Beck. And ever since then, I think that was the point where things changed, because just having my name in the corner, all the sports teams and leagues over in the US kind of saw my stuff and reached out. And this was back before like Instagram, back before Twitter. Like, the stuff that we were doing, like, it's pretty common now. Like, there's a lot of focus on design and content. But back then, like 2005, 2006, 2007, like, no one was doing it. So I feel like I was just born into a good era. I was doing it when other people weren't doing it. So, yeah.
So you can thank your school for this.
Yeah.
For forcing you to do an assignment in year 12.
Yeah.
And then do this. Now, we mentioned earlier on before that you used to work at Big W.
Yeah.
Now, we've had Andy on from Wildlife, and
Crazy.
Andy was on here, and you said you watched that podcast, and how ironic is that you guys worked together at Big W.
Yeah, doing night shifts, so working. I think we started at like 7:30, and we were meant to finish at 11:30. But most shifts back then, we would, be pushed to stay back till like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I don't think Andy ever stayed back, but I was a little bit younger. I was desperate for money. I'd stay back, so it was great. It was honestly like I actually had more fun doing that than I do now, which is a bit sad, but I reckon it's my most fun job I've had.
It's like at school, I keep telling my girls, they're young girls, I was going, like, guys, you don't realise how much fun you're having now.
Oh, yeah.
Wait until you start living in the real world and paying tax. So if we go forward to what made you get into graphic design? Like, how did you get onto Photoshop? Did it start with a laptop, or how did you get into it? Because that would have been pretty ahead of its time as well.
Yeah, I think it was like, I don't know, Photoshop or CS or something, like the first one or something. But basically it was like we had like darkroom photography at school, and then we had digital photography. So we had to go take photos and then make a magazine cover. Yeah. So like I really enjoyed that project, and I was like, oh, I'm actually decent at this. And I don't know, like I'm not like big into TV shows and movies, so I just go home every night and just play on a computer for 5-6 hours making stuff. And I guess, if you do that every day, every week, every year for like 3, 4, 5 years, you're going to get decent at it. I guess it was just like bored young kid and whatever.
So what part of that developed into something more? I mean, you talk about graphic design. Where was your first paid graphic design job?
Yeah, crazy thing. First paid graphic design job was for the Los Angeles Lakers, which is actually, that was my dream job. So it was all downhill from there.
How old were you for that?
I was like 16 or 17. I was in high school. And the funny thing is, when I went to the Adelaide Park Shopping Centre, which is like, I went to the Hub High School.
Yeah, the Hub.
Yeah, the Hub. Yeah, it's not a great high school. Probably not.
It's a great school, I'm sure.
Oh, really? Okay. It was Staberford Park when I was there. But yeah, I went into the high school with the bank check, and like all the people behind the counter were chatting to each other, and they kind of came out and they were like, "Oh, do you play for the Lakers?" And I was like, "I'm like 5'9", like 5'10". I definitely don't play for the Lakers." But they were like all excited and everything. But I mean, I'm pretty sure it was only like $100 or $200 on the first check. I got to find it. I've kept it somewhere.
Have you?
Yeah.
You got to find that. That's like, most people frame that shit.
Yeah, I got it somewhere. I've got it. I keep all the stuff. I don't throw anything out. So I've definitely got it somewhere. But for me, like, it's pretty cool to that was like my goal as like a kid when I started playing Photoshop to work for the Lakers one day. And it was my first client. And then it just kind of went from there.
Well, how the do you manifest that? Like, seriously, like 16. So typical American paying in check. What? So they got sent in the mail?
Yeah, bank check. Yeah. I mean, I was working for the New York Knicks like 10 years later, and they were still doing bank checks. It was crazy.
I almost, you know what? I can believe it. Like, I almost don't, but I can believe that they're still paying checks.
Yeah. It's just it's a really weird system.
And did they know, like, you're a 16-year-old kid? I'm assuming there was no contract signed. It was just like all email, was it? With a couple of phone calls?
Yeah, through the Lakers, it was just like freelance work. So it wasn't like a full-time job or anything. Later, when I worked with the NBA, I worked for them basically. I was put on a retainer, but it was like I was literally working like 100 hours a week for them. So it was basically a full-time job. But back then, it was just like, it was just through email. Like, I mean, I didn't really care. I think the fact that like I didn't care how much I got paid, it was more so just getting paid something to do it. And then I thought, this will just keep going, and it kind of did. So
let me get this right. You're doing business maths, or you're doing English, art, and you're also designing stuff for the LA Lakers.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was it was pretty crazy. But I think, looking back, I think it was just all chance and luck, honestly.
A lot of that plays into any successful business. But looking back on that, from the message I'm getting out from that is that you actually put yourself out there, put your work out there, and then everything fell into place. Is that a business lesson you think you've learnt from that?
Oh, for sure. I mean, especially like putting stuff out on the internet. Like, I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. Other people have seen it. I mean, you put yourself out there. Like, people are going to like it. Some people are going to hate it, or mock you, or mimic you, whatever. But I mean, I thought it was cool because, like, I mean, when I was doing that stuff, like the teams themselves, like sports teams back then, they didn't have design teams. Like they didn't have. Now they've got like a whole content team, a whole design team.
Back
then, we
of
would.
Course.
Yeah. I started. I ended up starting a group. We just called it Posterizers, and all like a bunch of designers around the world. We would just make sports stuff. And, like, we would just get comments every day and we would just get tagged being like, say, for example, it's a Minnesota Timberwolves fan and they'd tag Minnesota Timberwolves in it going like, why the hell don't you do stuff like this? Like, these are kids behind their computer making better stuff than a professional team. And, like, that wasn't the aim for us to kind of, like, make teams and leagues look bad. But I think over time when they saw our stuff, they just ended up reaching out to all of us and said, like, let's, do you just want to work for us sort of thing? And that's kind of how it went there.
And that's an amazing, we've had multiple people in this room and one of the big things they talk about is if you really love something, just, and one of the guys we had Matt Hall, Red Bull stunt plane, world champion stunt plane flyer, whatever it's called. And he came in here and he said, look, I had no money, but I knew I wanted to fly a plane. So I just went and swept the floor down at the hangar. And then eventually people would go, oh, I need someone to come up with me. Do you want to come up? And it all started by him just putting himself out there, being around, hanging around the hangar, getting up and playing. Then, do you want to fly? And that's how he started. I keep telling people just try and find something you really enjoy in life is the critical part.
Oh, for sure. We never even thought about money and like with that Posterizers group I was telling you about, like say an NBA team would win a championship or a player would drop like 50, 60 points. The NBA or the team would just post back then Twitter, just literally like, congratulations, like champion or congratulations 40, 50 points, no imagery to it. And then us as like a suite of kids, we would post the coolest looking wallpapers. People could download it on their desktop, their mobile phone screen and all that stuff back then. This is around about 2009, 2010, 2011. And sometimes we'd get like 500,000 downloads in a day. Like,
wow.
If it was a big moment, like a team winning a championship. And I never thought like, oh, I could sell this as a poster. But it was more like, if we've got 500,000 people like interested in this, like surely like the teams and leagues are going to notice and try and start doing this. And then a year or two seasons later, then it was all like push. And you see it in the Australian sports, like AFL and everything. They were doing nothing until like years after we were doing it through the US Sports League. So it was all kind of just a domino effect. So it was all about timing.
Yeah, and important part in life, to be honest, timing. So you mentioned in one of we did a bit of research about one of your podcasts. You made I'm a better business person than I am graphic designer comment.
Okay. I don't remember that, but I guess I am.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, like, I don't think my stuff's the best. But, like, when I look at it, I don't think no one's doing what I'm doing. So I've got to be doing something right, don't I? Like, I see people that have better work than me, better artistic style and all that, but they're not doing anything close to what I'm doing. And I mean, I say that humbly, but I think, it's hard work and, like, be a good person, work hard and take a risk. I bet on myself. Other artists don't. Like they'll sell stuff like they'll make a Michael Jordan poster and sell it. I'd never do that. Like I'd need Michael Jordan's permission to do it. Like I do things the right way. I pay people. I get likeness, get their name, image, and likeness. And I think a lot of people do the shortcut. They just try and like make a bag of money in a day, and then but they don't have long term kind of vision. So. I feel like if more people did that, they'd be more successful like years later, not maybe overnight. But yeah,
it's a great way to look at. Don't take the shortcut.
Oh yeah, everyone does. It's so easy. Like, but
it's awesome. So you mentioned doing it the right way. Now, you're basketball fanatic.
Yeah.
So for some reason, you seem to be an almanac of basketball information.
Yeah, a little bit.
Now, I have a mate of mine that bumped into Floyd Mayweather.
Okay.
Just recently at the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And then he invited him back to his house and blah, blah, blah. What's a Floyd Mayweather story? Like, I heard a little thing about you. You were sitting there and you had to go watch him play blackjack, and then while you're standing there, he's signing cards, and then all of a sudden something leads to something, and then they asked you about a certain player, which was, can you remember this story?
Yeah, I can remember this story.
So could you want to talk us through, like, you're on the casino floor with Floyd with a bunch of cards. How the f*** did you get to that spot?
Oh, well, it wasn't random. It was set up. So the signing was to be in his hotel room, but Floyd being Floyd, he wanted to be on the floor. Yeah, in a private room or something. So we went there, and I was just watching him, and I think he looked at the cards and he was like, "Oh, that's really cool." I can't remember. I feel like I don't know if he won or lost. I can't really remember, but he was playing for a bit, and then I was like, nah, I'm not going to play. Like, I paid enough for these cards to happen.
I need to sell them.
Yeah, and this is the risk I'm taking. But so we went up to his hotel room, and it was kind of crazy. Like, we got we went a part of his, like, he had everyone, like, all his security team has the big, like, TMT t-shirts, and everyone in that casino knew who he was. Like, they were like, "Oh, it's Floyd," and like, because I guess he's huge over there. But I was a little nervous. I haven't really been nervous around people just because, like, I don't know, everyone says he's well, not everyone, but like a lot of people say he's not nice, or he's
like a wife beater or something,
stuff like that. But he was really, really nice. Like, honestly, like, it's the ones that you don't the ones that you think are going to be, like, probably a bit, like, rude or, like, up themselves end up being really down to earth and humble. And he was awesome. And we went back up to his hotel room. So signing cards, and I could kind of tell he really wasn't giving me much. Like, he was just kind of not rude to me, but just kind of, like, not engaging much with me, and I kind of threw out, I try and, like, break the ice and trying to clear the air sort of thing. But they were talking all about basketball, and then someone else said, "Oh, like, Tyson knows heaps about basketball." And him and his mates looked at me and was just like, whatever. And then they were talking about, like, Larry Bird and some, like, comparison, and I kind of, like, voiced my opinion on, like, the comparison, and they were just like, "Nah, whatever." And then they were like, "All right." Floyd's friend was like, "If you know so much about basketball, like, who's Homicide?" And, like, they were like, I don't even think they did the connection. Like, Homicide is Corey Williams. He was actually out in Australia. He's commentating the NBL and everything. And I was like, "Oh, it's Corey Williams. Like, I know him. I've actually got his phone number and stuff like that." And then he was like, "What?" They were like, and they looked at each other and were like, "No way, you actually know Corey Williams?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, after that was the icebreaker. And then they were chatting to me just about basketball and everything. So sometimes you just need that moment, and I guess I got lucky that basketball was that moment in that conversation, but yeah.
So, you have to build relationships.
Yeah.
What are some tips and what are some techniques that you've done to actually build a relationship?
I mean,
because you've spoken with some. I'm going to ask you later about who some of the cool ones are, some of the but you must, other than your artwork, there must be something about you that lets a manager let you get in the door, or their managers. Yeah. And there must be something about you. So, I think what would be probably your number one technique without giving away any information to people?
I know, that's a hard one. I mean, Americans love Australians. Yeah. They lave our accent. I had a signing with Tyreek Hill in his house. He's an NFL player. I don't know if you saw yesterday, he just got arrested. And he got arrested, like, just speeding. Like, it was really bad. Okay. Like, the police, like, went over the top sort of thing, handcuffed him for speeding. And then a few hours later, went out and had an insane game. And then during his touchdown celebration, he kind of put his hand.
Really? What a baller!
Yeah, you should have a look at it.
So have you got those cards still?
Tyreek Hill.
So is that going to go up in value?
No. I mean, they probably. Tyreek's pretty big. This is Tyreek. His nickname's Cheetah. But they went on sale last year. So if his mum was in the house cooking. And she heard my accent from another room, and she came out and she was just like, "Can you just talk? Can you just, like, say my name and say a few words?" And then I said it, and she was like, "Oh my God, I love your accent." Like, a lot of people in America have never met an Australian before, so I feel like, I don't know, maybe that's not the thing, but
that is the best. I like that. Yeah, it's my accent. Yeah. It gets you across the line.
Yeah.
So building a relationship, who was you did work for Tops?
Yes.
So that sort of got your foot in the door.
Yeah.
How did that came about by they went out to a whole bunch of people, picked the best artwork, then all of a sudden you're doing a few cards for Tops? I mean, how does that work?
I don't know. I briefly mentioned before that Tops just emailed me. Emailed me and they said, just send your stuff on Instagram. Can you make some cards? And I did a set and I guess it went well. And then it was just called Tops Fire. So I do the set every year. I started with football, then went to baseball, then we did some USC. But then I was kind of never really saw the sales.
So what's a Tops Fire?
Tops Fire is like the set. Like it would be like there's like a set of a card would always be like, it'd be like Panini something, Top something. So they just called it Fire.
Yep.
I think I like to put a fire in a lot of my stuff, so then maybe just
Tops Fire makes sense. That's your style.
Yeah, so that was fun. But honestly, I never saw the sales. I just got it paid a set amount, and I never saw how things work. But in 2020, when they reached out to me and we were doing instead of me being paid per just for the project, we were going to do. You would do, and these were some of them where you just make one card and it was buy on demand, and it'd be up for 24 hours or 7 days, something like that.
Okay, you have to get scarcity.
Yeah. But rather than a box of cards and you open, it was just you buy one thing. Buy on demand, and then I saw the sales, and some of them were selling 10,000 of them or 20,000 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
So of your one card, you could.
I mean, it was COVID. It was a kind of a crazy time. I mean, they recently had one that sold 580,000. It wasn't mine. It was it was a little bit different. It's kind of like gambling. Everyone's done it to get this one-of-one card. But anyway, so when I saw that, and I was like, "There's demand for this stuff." I never saw what the sales were before.
Yeah.
And I was only getting 10% royalties. Nothing amazing, but they were only $20. I was getting $1 to $2 a card. But I guess over time, it was adding up, and I was able to save money. And then I was like, nah, I'm gonna bet on myself and just go out and sign players up myself rather than do their stuff. So
wow,
that's kind of how it started. So
wow, so you just saw a market, a gap in the market.
Yeah, because no one was doing it.
How many of the card designers, I mean, when we had a look at this, the global sports trading market is valued at $9.69 billion. That's in 2022. And they're forecasting that it's going to reach, this is US dollars, $20.48 billion by 2030. Now that's a bloody huge number. But there is a bucket load of companies that deal with trading cards, all different levels, I'm assuming. Is that you got Tops, you got Upper Deck, you got, they're not all owned by the one, are they? They're all separately, individually owned.
Nah, Fanatics is Fanatics recently bought out Tops, I think, for 500 million USD. Maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So they own them. Panini's their own company. I think Upper Deck's their own company. But I recently went to the National, which is the big trading card convention. It's like Comic-Con sort of cards.
For cards. Where's that? Vegas?
Nah, I wish. But it was in Cleveland this year.
Okay.
But it was over 3 days and 150,000 people were there. It was crazy. And it's we keep getting told cards are kind of it was only a bubble thing. It was only COVID that spiked it up. But it's those numbers seem right. It's getting bigger and bigger.
So then what? What about an NFT?
Nah, I've got PTSD from NFTs, but that's a lot of letters. But I don't know. Everyone thought NFTs would come in and replace cards because they're this is the new thing. People are on their phones all the time. Everything's digital, but I don't think anything can replace anything that's physical. No matter what, if we're 100 years time, you're going to be attached. You're going to get this nostalgic feeling. I don't think you can get a nostalgic feeling over something digital. So I don't think it's ever going to replace it.
It's a great sentiment there. So we're talking about you designing cards with flames and, your design. And then you go from that and you start reaching out to athletes direct. I mean, that's a pretty big step. How did that take place?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what was the moment, but I remember, I think I did
Well, can I then follow that up by
Yeah.
who was the first athlete that signed?
Oh, first one was Jason Tatum. So that's
Okay.
So he was a young NBA player. And I thought it was a perfect one to do because he was young. People were going to buy into his career. He actually just won the championship for he's the NBA, won the NBA championship this season, but I signed him up in 2020. So it took him a few years, but I thought that was a good one. He was young, popular. I'm a Lakers fan. It's probably not ideal. He was being a Celtics player, but because they hate each other. But he was he was a great person. And that was signed in the bubble when no one really was signing cards. All the NBA players were at what was it, Disney?
Oh, the Epicenter.
Yeah, something Disneyland or Disney World, and that bubble, the actual bubble, no one could get in and out, and none of the trading cards companies could get stuff signed. They were getting stuff on stickers. Like I managed to, and I think it pissed off some of the other companies. I won't mention their names, but the fact that I launched something. And then within a week, everyone got their autographed cards, and people have been waiting years, months for their cards. Like they have redemptions and stuff like that. So the fact that I came in, got a player signed, yes, I overpaid the player probably. That's why they were signed so quickly. But some of those things they work. It's worth doing in the moment, and I think that kind of launched oh shit, he's serious, he's doing this, and I guess there was a lot of education because a lot of the card collectors, so there's a lot of people that do art cards, they just make their own custom art cards, and people put my cards in that category because they just everyone does the custom art cards, but mine are different. Mine are officially licensed with the athlete. I got their name, image and likeness, and there's a bit of education to people because they will come here and go oh, this is just a custom card, it's not real, and I'm like, no, this is real with the athlete. I got a contract with them. They've been paid, they autograph them, and then they're like, oh, okay, sorry, I didn't know anyone did that, So that was kind of cool because I'm doing stuff that people don't even know about, and I think people just, I don't know.
Because it's a cool card.
Yeah, that one glows in the dark as well, so.
You joking?
Yeah.
Proper?
Yeah. If you got the UV light. I used to do them, but now I don't want to overdo them. But
so if I turn the light off, will we see it?
Nah, because you need the UV light. You need a UV light, unfortunately.
Because did you pick the colour it's signed into? Just happens to match the card perfectly.
That glows in the dark, that ink. It looks really cool.
That's pretty. I mean, just shit like that, you can't get online.
yeah.
So that's I just think that's a big step out, and I think putting all your eggs in the one basket, which I'm assuming you paid a fair bit of money, which you're well, if I sell many, how did you work out if I'm going to make money from this or not?
I guess.
And how'd you get to a number? I'm not going to ask you a number, but how'd you get to a number where an athlete's going, yeah, I'll sign stuff for you for $100,000 or whatever 10 grand, whatever the number is, where you sit there and go, okay, well, if I get 10 cards signed, and is that literally how you worked it all out?
Kind of. I guess I'm in the fortunate position where I can look at their market. So I can go on eBay, kind of look what their cards are worth. Think, okay, if I'm paying them this but then a lot of the times I'm kind of charged a lot more because they kind of view my cards as a boutique, kind of high. It's not a lot of the other card companies. I don't know if you know, they get them to sign stickers. They don't even sign the card. They sign stickers and then they just chuck them on the card. They're not even signed cards.
Oh, that's pathetic.
Yeah,
I see. Look, there you go.
Yeah, most cards are signed on stickers. You just don't know until you actually have them in hand and you can see that it's actually a sticker. And people hate it. Absolutely, collectors hate it. And then I've never done a sticker before. I've done, I don't know how many autographs, probably, 10,000 autographs, maybe. Yeah. And everything's been on card. If someone wants to do a sticker, it doesn't happen. I've been able to get stuff to Russia and crazy situations where the people oh, he doesn't usually I did Tyson Fury in it, got him down when in Australia, and he kind of saw a card and he's just you know what, this is so embarrassing. I've never signed a card before. These companies just keep fucking sending me stickers and I hate them. And the athletes hate them because they just know that it devalues their brand, their autograph market, because no one likes the stickers. So
wow, so that's a whole lesson here. Now, for the people that don't know, these cards get graded.
Yeah, they can.
They can. There's a couple of is there a couple of, I don't know, what do you call them, authorities that say this card is a 10 or a 2 or a 1, or so the number's out of 10, right?
Yeah.
And then they all, when you've obviously sent these away to be rated.
Yeah.
And then they get a rating.
Yeah.
So the higher the rating, like if I'm looking at a 10 and a 9, do I know what the difference is?
I mean, not really.
What do they got, a microscope out? They making sure there's...
Yeah, I think there's...
Is that how it works, or what?
Yeah,
Do you give a shit what it's rated?
I mean, to be honest, I do good quality control. Most people that send most people don't even grade my stuff because they know that, like, sealed in original packaging, I actually prefer. That's personal opinion, but a lot of people's whole collection will be in a slab that's this size.
Yeah.
So they'll want all their stuff in a
this.
slab. Whereas, yeah, for me, I'm happy. I prefer original packaging like this.
And for those that are can't see or blind,
Yeah.
these are like cards, but bigger they're solid boxes. Like they're not just a card.
Yeah.
So, and I'm assuming you're there for this too. This is the difference. Like I'd noticed, I've seen lots of footage of you actually there with the athletes.
Yeah, I'll try and be there in all scenarios. Definitely during COVID, I wasn't able to travel a lot, so I'll fly someone out or have someone there do it. But I'll try and be at every single one. I've tried to get a bunch of them in Australia. A lot of the time I'm in the US. I probably travel there 10 to 12 times a year. So I'm there all the time doing signings. And I think that's important. Like, I think that it shows that I care about the product. Like, people who are into cards, they're obsessed with the quality. So, like, they don't want bad corners. They don't want bad surfaces. They don't want scratching, all this stuff. So if I'm there, able to hand it, be able to kind of see the process, you know, be able to oversee it, because you see, like, the card markets, like, there's just so many bad quality cards. That's why a lot of people grade them, because they want this 10. But, like, people chase the 10, but, like, I'm pretty sure, like, I did a test of, like, 10 cards and 9 of them came back as 10. Like, it's not... But because I'm there and I'm able to oversee everything from printing to packaging to the signing to everything. So I feel like people care about that stuff. Like, you know, I'm not just kind of like taking shortcuts, just trying to get them on sale, stuff this, like get money onto the next thing. I'm doing everything from start to finish.
When I asked you earlier, what are some of the things, you said your accent. Clearly it's the personal experience and it's making them valued as an athlete rather than just just sign it and move on.
Yeah.
You're taking the time. When you go with these autograph sessions, are fans there or is it just one-on-one, or how do you go about that?
Definitely a mixture. So I've had ones where, like, I'll have an athlete. So, for example, like Tyrese Halliburton, he was an all-star, NBA all-star, first time NBA all-star, and the all-star game was in Indiana, and that's where he plays, in Indiana. So he was the big star. And I had a signing session at All-Star Weekend, and I was like, well, I've got this opportunity where, like, all these Indiana fans are going crazy. So I just ran a contest. It was free contest enter, whatever. But people could come into the signing session, bring something, get it signed, meet him. So they were there for an hour. He's signing. Imagine chatting to your hero or idol. And it's not just a meet and greet where you just, like, you know, take a photo. You're out. No, you're there for an hour. People are chatting to him. People are asking about trade rumors. People are asking about, like, someone in there was like, oh, my friend's like your neighbor, and he was just like, oh yeah, you need to shut your dog up. Like, it's like, like, it was pretty funny, like how small I guess Indiana is. But I try and get people in. There was one with UFC champion Alex Pereira recently, and that was going to be in his hotel room, and I was like, what's the point of me and him in a hotel room? I took it to a trading card store in Sydney, and we probably had 300-400 people rock up.
Wow.
And they could see this, watch the signing, and then meet him after. So I try and involve people when I can, but then obviously there's limitations. Like, you can't just do it with everything, and sometimes I prefer just doing it private with the athlete anyway. It's
unreal. You've made something out of fucking nothing.
Yeah, piece of cardboard.
What's even better is, you know, if people haven't heard about your stuff, obviously Instagram's a great way to start to have a look at it. But you've met some, like, what people would class as the number one like celebrities in their fields. And, you know, I know you're a big Kobe fan, and you have done a whole heap of work that you can never release on. Well, I don't know if you had the family approval. I'm not sure, but I'm assuming you've done it. Have you done any other things with Kobe stuff before?
Yeah. Yeah, so he was actually, I mean, it worked out really, really well with meeting these athletes. I did mention Floyd, I got a bit nervous, actually. I'll go back to it, but Hasbulla, you know, the little guy? Have you
Yeah.
I did a signing with him. I actually got nervous because, like, he was speaking Russian, he was mad the whole time. But I had an American friend who actually was Russian as well, and he was translating everything to me.
Oh, so he's a real person?
Yeah.
I thought it was a meme.
No, he's real. He's the whole. He's
really.
Yeah.
Is this? Yeah. Like the one that
the
goes,
little one.
Yeah.
So that was his first ever card. He was huge at one point.
That is a card I'd like.
Yeah, I don't have it here, but.
Oh my God, that's like when he's walking down. Oh my God. All right, so what made you do that? So just talk to me about what he's angry. What was he?
Oh, it was just
Russian.
Like,
it's just Russian.
Yeah, well, he had a few bodyguards with him, like security team. Or whatever. I guess you have to because though his bodyguards were like, well, you know, if someone would just pick him up, put him in a suitcase, and take him away if we leave, literally. But I don't know. I think it was pretty tense because the security was like they went from like Russia to Australia. And they were given like economy flights. I didn't pay for any of this, but and then Hasbulla was in like the business class, and his feet don't even reach the edge of the seat. So I don't know. It was pretty. That
would be the best business. That would be the best business card ever.
Yeah,
the best card ever. Him sitting with his business class seat. Oh my God! So he came to Australia.
Yeah, in where did you just Melbourne and Sydney. Sydney. I think Sydney and Melbourne.
Oh, so he's not a kid. I thought it was a 10-year-old kid.
No, it was 19. I think it was 19 when he did the signing a few years ago. But it was all the card companies. Some started emailing me after saying, like, can you let us know how you did this deal? Like, and I just didn't reply to him because, you know, I liked having his first card. Later on, the other card companies did do his card. But having his first card was cool. I actually did dual cards with him and Khabib Nurmagomedov, who's like 29. He's the guy that 29-0 beat.
Oh,
Conor
mate,
McGregor.
he's an animal. He's the guy he's the guy that fights bears.
Yeah.
There is footage of him in fighting with a grizzly bear.
Yeah. So they have a relationship, so that's how it was done. It was through the same manager.
I see. Fuck me dead. That is fucking...
I have to find. I'll find a photo. I should have brought one.
Oh, mate, that is absolutely outstanding. Like, to get someone's first card, that's pretty... Well, you could always do a card from me. You probably wouldn't be able to sell it. That's the unfortunate part, but I wouldn't charge you much. So that's obviously... What made you contact him? Why were you nervous about him too, by the way?
No, I was just nervous just because he seemed like angry. Like, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, have I said something wrong? You know, but my friend who was translating with me, he just said like, you know, I don't know. I think there's a cultural thing. They shouldn't be signing stuff. Like, I know he can't take photos with women, and there's stuff they can and can't do.
Oh,
I don't
really?
know. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
How would you even know that?
Well, I don't know. But, like, he signed the contract. Like, he took the money.
Yeah.
He's got to sign the stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. He just wasn't very happy, and maybe he was tired. Like, I think a part of the, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, the disease or the thing he has, it makes him very tired. So, like, I think he was just tired signing, and he was just wanted to go have a nap, I think. And, yeah.
I didn't want to let him nap. We don't have time to really unpack that, but fuck me, that would be so funny to hear that. Oh, my God. So, we were talking about Kobe.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I jumped to Hasbulla.
And then jumped to Hasbulla. I thought that was fake. Oh, my God. I can't believe that was a person.
Legit.
I've missed this memo here.
Yeah.
So, did you do anything for Kobe at all?
Yeah. So Kobe, fortunately, was the first athlete I ever met. And he was like my idol, my hero, like honestly, just like, the person I looked up to the most. And having him as the first athlete I ever met, that was during when I kind of was doing some stuff for the Lakers, and I met him after a game. And I don't know. I thought I was cool, calm, and collected, but my brother and mum, I got them down there in the locker room after the game as well, and they said I was a nervous wreck. I was shaking. I was stuttering. I guess I was because they saw it. And I think having that experience of meeting your absolute GOAT, your absolute number one person in this world, all these other athletes, like no disrespect to them, but it's just like they're just another person. Like I treat them as a normal person, and I think it's probably because of meeting like the top of the top, the best, and now everything's like just smooth sailing after that.
So he's obviously, had a lot of money.
Yeah,
and coming to you, I'm assuming what you've offered him would be peanuts.
Oh, Kobe, I never did something like this with. This was like, Kobe was. I did stuff with Panini. So I did a memorabilia line in his last season when he retired, and there was just a bunch like posters, I think frame stuff and cards and stuff. So it was all through Panini.
Yeah,
who
cool.
had his.
Okay.
They had an exclusivity.
Yeah.
No one could touch Kobe outside of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say even what about I can see Steph Curry here.
Yeah, I mean, he just signed a contract where he's on like $65 million US, like just to play basketball.
And you've come and offered him like a couple of $1 million.
Well, I mean, it's pretty close, but Steph's like the biggest athlete I've done for sure.
So how did you get to come up with the number?
Yeah.
Is that you going, hang on, this is the way that it calculates for me, or is there backwards and forwards going, nah, I'm not signing that?
Well, a lot of because I've kind of got my name out there, and I guess people in this space, especially in America, know about me, that like Steph, I didn't reach out to or anything. A lot of these players now, most of the players, 99% of players now I don't reach out to. Someone that represents them or has access to them reaches out to me and they go, are you interested in this? And I said, yeah, it's either yes or no. And if I am, they kind of give me what the price is. And then if I can look at it and go, okay,
yep,
like I do the numbers.
Can work.
If I could, autograph and non-autograph cards,
yep,
it can work. And if it doesn't work, I just say no, sorry, it doesn't work. And if it does, I will say yes. So I don't really go out reaching out. It's kind of it's a really good system where I'll just get
because an amazing system, mate. They're coming to you.
Well, not the athlete, but
they're managers.
Yes, people that have connections and have access to the athlete. And in America, like it's different here. Like everyone's kind of like. Over there, like it's business, like it's very like money focused here. Where like I don't even know how it works with Australian athletes, but if someone's brother or someone like you would just help someone out, you wouldn't be charging them hundreds of thousands of dollars. But it's just different over there. So I mean, it's good. It's led me an opportunity to work with some amazing athletes, and hopefully some many more. But so it's a pretty good system at the moment where I'm just able to kind of filter and work with the ones that make sense.
So talking about some of the bigger stars you've met and designed things for, well, who has been the most welcoming?
Oh, I mean, the nicest,
you got to watch what you say here, just in case any of them are listening. Yeah. Hey, they'll ring you up. Hey, Tyson, what about me? I thought, what did I do wrong? Is there something I can improve on?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it probably sounds a bit lame, but everyone's been like really, really like good. Like the experience, overall has been good. The majority of them. Dirk Nowitzki was probably one that's high.
Who's that?
So Dirk Nowitzki was. He's this guy here.
Yeah.
So he played for the Dallas Mavericks. He's 7 foot. He's German. And he was really, really nice. And the thing I liked about him is it was actually in Melbourne. He came down here, so I did the signing session there. And the cool thing why he stands out over others is I was chatting to him. He played in the era of basketball that I loved, like the late 90s, early 2000s with Kobe and everything. And, I asked him, who's the hardest player you've ever played against, the best player? And he was like, Kobe, no questions. Like, it was like, don't listen to, the LeBron and all that. No, it's Kobe. Like, Kobe was the hardest and best player I've ever played against. And like, I was asking him I just kept on asking him all these questions. And if he liked the question, he would put down his pen, put down the card, sit back in his seat, look at you in the eye, and he would just give you a 2 or 3 minute answer. He would tell these stories. And I really appreciated that because a lot of these guys, yes, time is valuable to them. They're just signing as quick as possible. Yes, they will talk to you, but they're just signing. Yeah. They're not really. And I think that, like, that little note of just being, put the card down,
Stuck.
put the pen down. I like this conversation. And yeah, he definitely stood out. But there's been a bunch of other good ones as well.
The Mayweather card's pretty baller.
Floyd. Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
He's got a nice auto. His autograph is kind of nice.
Yeah, I've been really disappointed with my autograph.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I'm the 2-time Australian world prototype champion.
Yeah.
And I do sign a bit of, hey guys, don't look like that. I do sign a few posters, but I have a shit signature. Kind of like Cheeto here. It's pretty shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just say JP and that's it.
Yeah, JP, yeah. Can you spot a good autograph when you see it?
Yeah, I think anything unique is nice. It doesn't even have to look that good. Like, if it's unique, people like it. Just because when you see that autograph, you want an autograph that can go on a basketball and you know who it is.
Right.
Because I guess the card's easy,
Yeah, well, it's got name, pictures, bit of colour.
But yeah, I think you need an autograph that it can go on a ball without not on a jersey, and then you know who it is. So, like, even this is an autograph, but Messi's has a cool one. It's kind of like this swoosh, and then he writes Leo on it. So it's like, it's kind of like personal.
I've seen the thing come up on my app, like Instagram. Get that signature, the order, yeah. And I
did that for myself.
Oh my god, did it work?
Oh, it looks shit. I didn't do it to actually use it.
You've
I was
ruined it.
Yeah.
Oh, it saved me money.
Nah, but I think it's the T. The T's not a good letter to start off with.
I got J.
That's better.
P.
Yeah, that's
J.
better.
But when your English is almost unreadable, I don't know. Now I've just been putting a dot on the top, right? Like, so J, and it looks cool. Like, I'm like, oh, that looks pretty cool now. Hang on, what are we all laughing for here, guys? Like, this is not. These guys think it's funny.
You could add like a little trolley card or something.
Yeah,
to your,
or on the. I was thinking on the dot, my racing number 66.
That's it. That's good.
I feel like signing cards now. All right, so we've met. So you've had some good interactions. Yeah. Now, got to ask you the obvious thing. What's some bad interactions?
I mean, I haven't had awful like.
I reckon you have.
No, I mean, I've just some of them have been
disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing, but just like not respectful. At the end of the day, like, look, you're being paid for it. If you don't want to do it, don't take the money.
Absolutely.
So it's been that. I won't name names, but yeah, it's more the respect thing. Like, I've had ones that would like be really rude to like a videographer or a photographer in a room, and it's like, don't be that I mean. But also, it's like, I don't want to throw. It's just like, I've worked with people bigger than you. Like, you don't, But it's just like, yeah. I think a lot of these celebrities and athletes, they think they're the biggest thing ever, but they're not. They're not. They're just like, I mean, some of them are, like, depending on what scale it is. But it's the ones that like aren't that big and think they're the shit and think they're the biggest thing, and they're rude to everyone that's in the room besides like their friends or the managers. And it's like, yeah, don't be rude to a photographer or videographer. They maybe think that they're the least least successful person in the room or something, so they're just kind of like taking their anger out on them or whatever. But I don't know. I just think that you should be respectful of everyone, and I just don't like that. And when that happens, I had one recently in July when I went to a signing. I signed 18 players in like 3 days. 17 were amazing. One was a dickhead, and he just walked in. He was just like, man, he was like, I gotta sign more fucking cards. Fuck this. And it's just like, I was like, I mean, I'm more than happy to just take my money and like leave. Like, I don't want to
give me the money.
But now it's like, I don't even want to sell them. Like, I just had a bad experience. Like, just that, it was like, I don't like nah.
I love it.
So I'll just give them away free, like, honestly. And then people will know which one it is, because
I love it. No. I don't, but I fucking wish I did, because I would say that person's name. Be respectful to others, for God's sake.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, like, I'm pleasantly surprised how good majority of them are. And I have been able to, I guess, over time, being in these signings, I kind of can sense the mood. Like some of them, I've had ones where I've done them multiple times with an athlete, and one will be in the morning. Oh, they're grumpy. One will be later at night. They're much nicer.
Yeah.
But I can kind of sense the mood. If they're not wanting to talk, I leave them alone, sign, get the job done, move on. But then others want to talk, or I can kind of like, you know, if their wife's there or their girlfriend's there or something, I'll be like, oh, you know, have you ever been to Australia? Do you want to come to Australia? And then like the wife or girlfriend might be like, oh, we're you know, it's on the bucket list. We want to come to Australia. And then you kind of get the conversation going from there, and everyone's kind of friendly and talking.
So awkward when they bring the wife and their girlfriend.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
So you've had I mean, for me, this just smells like there needs to be a Netflix series following you, mate.
Oh yeah, I mean potentially. There's been a few people that wanted to do stuff, but that's really not me. Like honestly, I'm not a huge fan. Like I don't. I kind of like doing things like just behind the scenes and. But also like a lot of these stuff that I do, like these big companies don't like what I'm doing, but like they'll sign someone up to an exclusivity, and then I'll get them not during the exclusivity, but I might get them straight after, or I'm able to get stuff done that doesn't, you know. And I just think like having that stuff on footage and a documentary might just kind of further piss some big companies off, and I don't need to be doing that. I know you like to piss off Woolies and Coles, but I like to sleep at night, you know, not worrying about things. So
yeah, I think I mean, from what you're saying, I mean, there's a story involved. It's amazing. Like, I mean, I've watched way worse shit on Netflix. Like, fucking hell, I would watch it. So I think we should just follow you, and you don't even do pieces to camera. Done. All right, moving on. So you've got things that get copied and copywriting.
Yep.
Do you copyright your stuff or not?
No, I mean copyrights are kind of irrelevant. Like if you make artwork, if it's yours, that's it. Like if someone plagiarizes it or you don't need, oh, this is copyrighted. Like it's my work. Like that specific thing, it's not for a client. Nothing. If it's my work, it's my work. I thought you needed stuff copyrighted, but if it's your own work and you're only releasing it, you actually don't need it. Just you posting it online, you having the first, the initial. What would you call it?
Launch of a
that's
digital
yours.
presence.
Yeah. So if anyone like rips it, and you know, I see all my stuff. I go to the Lakers games, and all my Kobe stuff's on T-shirts. They're selling them like the bootleg. I bought some. I'm like, it's actually cheaper to buy them than make them myself. So I'll see a Kobe shirt, and I was like, oh, that's my design. Oh, it's $10. Like. If I wanted to get that made in Australia, it would cost more, so I'll just buy it. I don't care.
Oh, that is...
I used to get pissed off back in the day. Like, I get really angry. I'd, like, try and, like, find out the people, like, get them blocked on, like, Instagram, but now I just laugh at it. Like, when it's happened that many times, you just see your stuff. I just... Unless it's a big company doing it, then it's different.
Well, it's a sign of the greatest. It's a sign of flattery, right? Like someone copying your stuff.
Yeah, and I think like obviously when Kobe passed away, I'd done a bunch of stuff, and you know I used to, like I said, wallpapers, and I used to push that stuff for free. When he died, unfortunately, there's a lot of people when someone dies, especially a celebrity, it's cha-ching time. Like, and then every time I go on Instagram like this, I guess it's in my
your feed.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, that's my canvas, that's my poster, and it's just like whatever. I think at the start I was pissed, but now I just like I said, I just laugh about it.
Art's one of those things. I mean. You know, there's lots of debate over digital art on who actually owns it. Yeah. And, you know, I think when you're releasing it to however, and you're like, whatever. If it's out there, people see it, they like it. It's, you know, that to you is like, that's a success.
Yeah. And if I do like something for a client and then it gets pushed and it's getting sold fake on posters and everything, well, I guess it's on the client to... If it's the client's IP, it's their IP, they can go and do what they want. So I might send them, hey, did you know someone's making this card into T-shirts? And they'll go, okay, we'll get our lawyers. Or so, you know, they'll do that, but I don't really do that stuff.
Yeah, it's not you.
But that's not to say if people start ripping off my shit, I won't go after them. I should probably put that out there.
You know, you see all this, and just people looking outside, looking in, they'd be like, oh, he's meeting all these people. He's, making money from doing stuff that he can literally work on a laptop. Why are you living in Adelaide?
I mean, we had the conversation before. It's the best place in the world. Like, I mean, honestly, people think I'm crazy that the fact that I could live anywhere and do this. Like, I don't need to be in Adelaide. I could live anywhere. I never do business in Adelaide at all. And I don't know. It's not like I don't like America. Most of my work's in America. My signings are in America, all across America. But there's something about. Maybe it's my personality. I love Adelaide. I don't like the big cities. I hate New York. Like, I kind of like the smaller cities in America. But like, what's there not to love about Adelaide? Like, you got the beaches, you got the weather, you got
the river.
Great food here. People
wine.
are nice. I've got my family here. So it's like, I mean, sell me another city that's got all that. It doesn't. Like, so, I think it's pretty simple. And the funniest thing I experienced though is like, when people say I'm Australian, especially in America, they just assume, oh, you're in Melbourne or Sydney. And then they get I don't know why, but I feel like, especially in the corporate space sort of thing, but when I would say I'm from Adelaide, they would get like triggered that like I don't live in Melbourne or Sydney. Like, they'd be like, why haven't you moved in Melbourne to kind of grow your business? And I was like, because I don't need to, like, and they kind of like, you need to, like, you need to be in Melbourne to grow your business. And I'm like, no, I prefer it here. Like, I'm good. Like, and it's just like, I don't know, something about Melbourne and Sydney, they're just kind of like, if someone's not living in their city, that's just my experience personally, they kind of get a bit triggered that you're not over there doing, well there.
Yeah, I had a conversation today with some bloke in Melbourne, and he said, well, even over COVID, no one wanted to go to Adelaide. I said, and look at it now, no one wants to live in Melbourne. And he fucking laughed because he went, no shit, seems like everyone wants to go to Adelaide at the moment.
Yeah. And I mean, it's always been like a little bit of a hidden secret kind of thing. Like, I mean,
I love the food here, the restaurants here.
Yeah.
It's so good. There's literally zero traffic. You can breathe without choking. Like, I love it. Is there an artist or a style of art that you look at or you can see around Adelaide or around the world and go, that stands out, I love it?
I mean, I don't really kind of mix and mold with creative people. I kind of, it probably might not sound as nice, but I don't know. Just a lot of them are like...
Banksy? You've seen his stuff?
I don't really. To be honest, I'm more into the athletes, so that's why I do sport.
Yeah,
I don't really care for art or design much. I'll go to art exhibitions and everything. It's like, I don't know, it doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah,
I get inspired by the athlete. So like, if there's one that I like, ones with a personality, and someone jumps really high, you kind of you can kind of feed off that. And
personality. Have you met Rodman?
Yeah, I've done three.
And what's he like?
Rodman. He's cool. He's out there. He's got his girlfriend tattooed on his face right now.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And they haven't been dating that long. He's wild. I mean, his stuff sold really well, and I've done it 3 times, and I just keep doing more because it keeps selling. So people love Rodman. But
he's fucking cool.
But they're I get more inspired by him than other artists and designers. I just don't, I don't know. I'm just not really into the art scene.
You're just an athlete that's just a shit athlete.
Yeah. I just prefer sport. I grew up loving sport, and back in the era of the 90s and early 2000s, most of the stuff looked crap. Like the T-shirts, the posters.
Yeah.
But now...
Oh, the stuff you've got here, it looks cool.
Oh,
like you use lots of is it hologram or
rainbow foil, I guess you call it, or just like shiny shit. Yeah. People like shiny stuff.
I think it's fucking super cool.
No, thank you for that.
And so notice NFL, basketball, now a bit of UFC.
Yeah.
What about F1? Like, what about, F1 seems to be on a massive trajectory.
Yeah. F1 carts are huge.
Are they?
Yeah, F1 is huge.
I don't have. I didn't know they were huge.
Yeah, they're big.
So when they come to Melbourne,
Yep.
like that's a good place. Oscar Piastri? Do you think you'd get him to sign something? Would you do something for him if we fucking hit him up?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to, but for me, with the F1's got an exclusivity with Topps, so you can't use the cars and you can't use the logos. So it's like have you seen an F1 driver? They're drenched in logos.
Yeah, I get it.
So you can't use any of that. Whereas like the basketball, soccer, it's easier to kind of like take away the logos and stuff. And I could work with Topps and do an F1 thing. I don't think it's of interest right now. But
so you could contact them and go, hey boys, I'm still doing work for you. I got my own brand.
Yeah, we could do something there. Yeah,
I'm not.
But I would rather that than go to a driver specifically, and because it just like I feel like the F1 you need the logos like with the F1 they're just drenched.
Well, it's
in
pretty
logos.
easy. I mean, orange is pretty much McLaren, but Max claims orange too.
Okay.
Because he's Dutch, so there's a bit of confusion there. But anyway.
Yeah, I think it definitely would. The F1 market's big.
Okay.
It's really, really big. Yeah.
Any other sports you're looking to go into?
I want to do more like soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. That I haven't signed up any athlete. I've done soccer cards with Topps, but I've never done an athlete myself. So I've been trying to get Messi. I've been trying to get like Ronaldo and stuff like that. And I've been close, but kind of nothing's kind of eventuated there. But that's definitely the sport I want to get into. Because it's the biggest sport in the world.
Biggest one in the world. So I don't want to waste your time, but I've gone back and I thought, okay, JP's a new card designer.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about it a lot.
Yeah.
So I got an idea.
Okay.
What about a Hot Wheels?
A Hot Wheels car or
card, Hot
sorry.
Wheels card.
No, a Hot Wheels card or
card. Yeah. Like, bear in mind, there's 9 billion Hot Wheels cars sold.
Yeah, I think so. Someone with the
more than there's people on the planet.
Wow, that's insane.
It's the number one toy in the world.
That's crazy. Someone from Sydney, when we mentioned Sydney, they were speaking to me about potentially doing something with Hot Wheels. So nothing's eventuated there, but potentially because he's got the IP license to it. So
okay. Well, the other one is watches, mate.
Yeah.
Now, people with watches and exotic cars, not Hot Wheels, real ones, when they buy these limited release cars, doesn't it make sense that I get a card as the thing that goes with the card in a box that's worth a few $100 and
yeah, I feel like there's definitely an opportunity there. I think the cards there's everything cards. It's not just sport. There's so many other there's pop. There's like
Idols.
Pop stars,
pop
stars, and there's all these different niche outlets that are doing cards now. So it's kind of crazy that watches aren't, especially because it's so hard to get a watch.
No shit, it's impossible. So there you go. See, I've made for this.
Yeah, there you go.
So, I'm going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Normally, when people come in and ask a whole list of questions, we've ditched those out the door because everyone said they were boring.
Okay.
But I do have one. Like, I think I like this one. If you had died and had to come back as a computer game or a board game, what would be one that would best describe your life? And the reason I've stopped doing this is because people can't actually think of an answer because most of the young kids have no idea what a board game is for a start.
Okay.
Snakes and Ladders, Yahtzee, Scrabble, Monopoly. There's a whole heap of things, but I find it really puts people off guard. But it's the last thing, so I don't really care.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question.
Yeah,
I'm thinking more. I'm not a big board game guy. I love Uno, and that's about it. But, that I don't think that kind of.
Well, forward, backwards.
Yeah,
you need to get the right colours to fucking finish.
That's true. I was more like video games. I was huge on them. So
yeah.
I mean,
mate, mine's Grand Theft Auto. If I came back in a video game, that would be it.
Oh, I'd have to. I mean, that would be everyone's choice, wouldn't it? That would be the coolest one.
Oh, that would be the best. Robbing people, mugging people, running over criminals. Oh, being a criminal.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much better than that.
I would probably just say like the Tony Hawks, because that was what I lived on, and I thought that's cool. I mean, you can dress I think you could change clothes, dress that. You've got the creativity there, and stuff's on a timer. Feels like my whole life is on like a countdown timer sort of thing, and then I guess the points thing is maybe all the money I spend on the athletes. So maybe Tony Hawks.
that is the best. I am going to wrap it up, but I do want to say thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
No, thank you.
I think we're going to do some stuff which I'm guessing, I've got these pretty good card designs for someone that can't draw stick figures, which I could easily relay to you. But what is there to expect from Tyson over the coming years?
Over the coming years, wow. I mean, my motto of the last 4 years have just been do it until the wheels fall off, and the wheels are still on, and I'm just going to keep saying it next year. I say it to my wife every year, like, we'll just do it until the wheels fall off, and she's like, yeah, but this year was better than last year and the year before, so it just keeps growing, which is cool. But I feel like I'm at the level where some of the smaller athletes, it's just like, it's not worth the time sort of thing, so I just want to go get the biggest ones possible.
Yeah.
So, like, the Michael Jordan, like a Tiger Woods, like the big ones.
Yeah.
And I hope to do stuff with them in the near future, and which would be pretty special, I think. So just think of the GOATs.
Unreal, mate. The goat chaser,
Yeah.
Tyson Beck. Thank you for coming on. Thank you.
No, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. It was great to meet you and chat with you, and another successful person from Adelaide. So it's always good to speak to someone.
Thank you.